Whoa. How long has it been since the last review? Holy shit, months? Yes, that's what happens when your computer breaks and you obtain a severe case of lack of motivation. Alright, let's get back into this, shall we? But I need something simple to start off with. I do have a big project planned, but that's going to take a while. What's something simple and fun? Okay, that works. Mighty number 9 and Gunvolt. Also Galgun for some reason. Quite the odd combination. On one hand, we have the biggest disappointment of 2016, a really good series of action platformers, and whatever this is. So, why these were combined, I don't know. But Mighty Gunvolt Burst is quite the game, but we can't go there yet. First off, we're starting with the original Mighty Gunvolt. So I would go over development of this game like any good reviewer should, but quite frankly I can't find anything outside of being made into creates, and actually coming out before my number 9, to be fair. I didn't exactly look very hard. Which is interesting to say the least, as this might just be Beck's first playable appearance. And according to the Gunvolt wiki, it was actually given out to Kickstarter backers of Mighty number 9 to hold them over since the game was delayed. Which is something, I guess. Also, it was given out for free for the first 3 months of Gunvolt's original 3DS release, which is actually pretty cool. I don't have the 3DS version of Gunvolt 1 since I didn't get into the series until I randomly saw the Switch version of the Striker pack at a GameStop one time, and quite frankly, I see no reason to play the 3DS version at this point. Anyways, which is the same way I feel about this game. They also got a Japan-only release on the PS4 called Gunvolt, but we'll be playing the Steam version for this review, so now, let's rock. Alrighty, let's start with the story in the manual, and what am I looking at? Some dumb middle school drama? I know this is a spin-off, but seriously, what am I looking at? Whatever, let's move on to the actual game story. Okay, this game has no plot, moving on. Graphically, this game looks pretty good. It's not fantastic or anything, but considering the art style it's going for, it looks good, and the music is pretty damn good as well. Then again, it's mostly remixed Gunvolt 1 music, so that's to be expected. Not really much else here to say, unfortunately. Mighty Gunvolt has 3 playable characters. Beck, Gunvolt, and I probably am not butchering this name. Ikoro? Is that right? I'm just gonna go with that. Everyone fine with that? If not, too bad. Each of them playing slightly differently, with Ikoro being able to mind control enemies and float, which is something, I guess. Gunvolt having a double jump and a charge beam, which I'll get into later, and Beck having a charge dash and the ability to slide, which lets him take slightly alternate paths. I'll mainly be using Gunvolt for this playthrough because he's the only one out of these 3 games I've played for obvious reasons, although I probably will try Mighty number 9 at some point because curiosity, and also because he's the most functional and fun. I'm going to be honest, there's not much to talk about here. This is blatantly classic Mega Man, except with extremely simple level design and without the difficulty. This game sets the tone of a difficult encounter with the first boss, Viper, who is definitely one of the harder bosses in the first Gunvolt, and is without question a noob killer in this game since you can't really jump over him. But then I had an epiphany. Charge Shot is dumb, and thus the rest of the bosses fell like flies. Even the final boss wasn't immune to this fate. Levels themselves, as stated before, are extremely simple and extremely easy. There aren't really any real level gimmicks or anything, just slightly harder layouts for blocks you jump on. Also spikes that don't instantly kill you. I kinda wish they did. Would make things more interesting. I wouldn't call it bad design or anything, but nothing really stands out. Even if there was something, these levels are also incredibly short, about 3 minutes tops, assuming you're not dying a bunch, which doesn't really give it much time to stand out anyways. Also, before I forget, this game uses a live system, which I do like, as I like my actions in the video games to have consequences. Here it just kind of exists. Odds are, unless you are really bad at platforms, you will never run out of lives. This game is also incredibly short with only 5 stages, not including DLC, which we'll put a pin in for. It's fine considering it's only $5 on the Steam store, so it's not like it's asking for much. It's also pretty funny how 3 of the 4 actual stages, because the final stage is just a boss fight, are Gunvolt stages and 1 is from Galgun. That just kinda seems like an afterthought to this game. No wonder this was called Galgun when it was put on PS4. Okay, I'm picking DLC stages now, which are all included for free in every version that isn't the 3DS. Okay, speedrun these. Factory is pretty easy, has a Mighty number 9 boss, so it stands out for that. Same for Highway, which is once again mainly notable because of being Mighty number 9 boss stage, and having the second hardest boss in the game, Brandish. And Gym is just a level with a lot of annoying enemies and the easiest boss in the game, at least when playing as Gunvolt. Biolab, on the other hand, is without question the most difficult level in the game and also the best. For the good, we actually have a level gimmick. Sure, it's taken straight from the first Gunvolt game, but it uses it arguably better than Gunvolt 1, so I'd say that's a win. For the difficulty, we have these zombie enemies, which are a pain in the ass to hit due to the low profile normal attacks, and the boss. Oh boy, do we have the boss. So I've learned a lot about my gaming preferences over the past year and a half, and while I love it when a game is willing to kick me in the shins, I don't like big difficulty spikes, and Elise is a massive one, which makes sense because just like Viper, she's one of the harder bosses in Gunvolt 1. The best way I can describe her is that they took her boss fight out of Gunvolt 1 and forgot to tone it down for this game's lack of movement and offensive actions. For example, there are moments in this fight where it at least appears to be impossible to dodge attacks and standard shots as you would expect to fuck all the bosses, and you have to do charge shots at her, and that has a good amount of startup. And right, if you haven't noticed, there's 2 of her. Also, her projectiles turn into snakes. These things can die in a fire. At least they didn't bring back her resurrection ability from Gunvolt 1. Oh god, I'd lose my shit if that happened. But yeah, compared to the 2 fights here, and it's night and day which game it was made for. Overall, Mighty Gunvolt is an okay platformer that will hold you over for a couple hours. It's not bad or anything, but it's also not great either. For what it is, it gets the job done, and for $5, that's all I can really ask for. There's very little reason to go back to this one outside of curiosity, especially because of what we're going to be looking at next time. See you next time when we check out the sequel that I'm surprised even exists, Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Actually, since I have Gunvolt on the brain and Hoard Adventure X2 is coming out in January, and Gunvolt 3 is coming out sometime next year, screw it. Let's make this a Gunvolt marathon, shall we? See you next time for Azure Striker Gunvolt. So I'd like to apologize for the long wait and the really short video. Like, my computer broke and then I just lost motivation and then school started. So, things have been a little messy over here. But I'm back. I plan to do more later. I have like a really big project in the works, so that's probably not going to come out for a while. I'm just going to work on it in the back burner. And I, as you probably already saw, started a Devil May Cry Let's Play just to get me back in the saddle of recording. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to start streaming again, because quite frankly I don't care. I'd rather just do a Let's Play anyways, because I can practice editing on it. But outside of that, yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.